There is no time like the present to unhaul a bunch of books. Okay, so if I want to bring books in the house, I need to get books out of the house. So I'm unhauling a bunch of books. I'm going to show you them now. I'm going to take most of these to David's used books in Greenville because they offer store credit, and so every now and then I can go in and get some newer books. So it's a nice little cycle. A lot of these I'm not getting rid of necessarily because they were bad. They're either just not something I'm interested in reading anymore, or they're not going to be something I reach for to reread, and or they aren't something I'm going to put in my classroom library. I have a very, very large classroom library, and at this point I really don't need to add much more to it. So let me show you what I'm getting rid of in this like first unhaul of the year, or last unhaul of the year. I don't know, it's technically December right now, but you know what I mean. Okay, the first thing I'm getting rid of is Stephen King's Everything's Eventual. This is a really good short story collection, especially if you like Stephen King. It's got 1408 in it. It's got LT's Theory of Pets. It's got a really good one about like a haunted painting. I'm just not gonna reread it, and I don't really think it needs to be in my classroom library. So I'm getting rid of it. I'm getting rid of my copy of Good Omens. Again, this is good, and I would probably reread this. I just don't want this copy anymore. I would prefer to have either a hardcover or like just something a little bit bigger. I'm kind of over the paperback size. This is not going to be. Oh Jesus, that was loud. This is not going to be rereadable for me in my old age with its tiny writing, and I have to be realistic. I'm getting rid of Looking for Alaska. I've never read it. If I want to read it, I'll check it out from the library or something. I'm getting rid of A Thousand Nights, which is by E.K. Johnson, and I believe this is a Scheherazade and like the where she, told tales to stay alive. I think it's a retelling of that, or her version of that, reimagining. I don't know. Either way, I'm getting rid of it. I'm taking The Fault in Our Stars to my classroom because I already have a couple copies of this, and so that way I'll have multiple copies if kids want to read it. But I'm not going to reread it, and I have it on ebook if I want it that bad, so I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm also getting rid of Kirsten White's Hide. It's nothing against Kirsten White. It's not that this cover does not like eat all the way down. Um, I'm just not going to reread it. It wasn't that good that I feel like I need to reread it. And revisiting it and reflecting on it, it really was kind of lacking, especially in the pacing department. This is way too small for what it was trying to accomplish. You can have a small thriller, you can have a small horror, but you gotta be a little bit more realistic with the scope, and this just wasn't. I'm getting rid of Alice I Have Been by Melanie Benjamin. I'm sure I wanted to read that at one point. I'm getting rid of the Romance Readers Book Club. I, again, so sure I wanted to at some point read that. I'm getting rid of Where the Crawdads Sing. I don't need that. I don't need it. I'm getting rid of Her Fearful Symmetry. And I'm getting rid of Americana. All right, I'm also getting rid of Well Met by Jen DeLuca. This is a good book. I recommend this romance. I like this romance. It's not enough that I'm gonna reread it again. And again, got it on ebook if I do desperately want it. I can just make space in my shelves by getting rid of this. I'm getting rid of this copy of Oliver Twist. It's the only like weird paperback copy of Oliver Twist I have. I can get a better copy of this. I think I even have a penguin cloth bound of this that I'm more likely to pick up. And I have it on my Kindle, so I don't really need this slightly ugly copy of Oliver Twist. I'm getting rid of Lolita. I'm never gonna read Lolita. I'm never gonna read it. I'm sure, like thematically, things would make sense if I read it. I I have no desire. I have no desire to do so. So I'm gonna get rid of it. I am getting rid of my cover and edition of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I really do like this book, but I liked it on audio. The two Taylor Jenkins Reid books I've read, I preferred them on audiobook over physical. And I don't really want a paperback with the sticker printed on it. I saw a hardcover once at Enjoy, and I missed it by like 2 seconds and someone else got it. But she was happy to have it, so it's not that big a deal. I'm getting rid of Gregory Maguire's After Alice. It was okay, but not memorable. I'm getting rid of Spoon River Anthology only because I have a really pretty hardcover of it now. Otherwise, I would keep it. This is a fantastic book. I highly recommend people read it. It's literally like gravestones telling their life stories of a small town called Spoon River. If you're someone who likes to go, maybe not likes to go, but if you're in a graveyard, you like to see like who's the oldest, or what does this person have inscribed on theirs, and how are these people related. Pick this up. I'm getting rid of The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie. Again, not that it's bad. I just won't reread it. It is short though. It's very short. The movie is amazing if you have the time to watch it. I'm getting rid of The Giver, but I'm only getting rid of The Giver because I now have The Giver Quartet in like a huge bind up, so I don't really need the original copy. And I know what you're thinking, well, you could take it to your classroom library. First of all, I'm high school. Most of them have been required to read this already in middle school. But also, I think I have like 2 copies of it in my classroom, and they have multiple copies in the library. They're good. Oh, like I said in my Gina card deck challenge thing, I'm not keeping Shadow of the Wind. I mean, I really wanted to like this more than I did, but maybe someone else that'll find a home with them and they will like it. I'm getting rid of the Yanalasi Writing Camp for Girls. I'm keeping the ARC. I have an ARC version of it I found at a thrift store, but like that, I don't really need it. I'm getting rid of the Writing Retreat, which I bought and read for the Literally Dead book club. It's a cool book, but like, maybe it's gonna sound weird. It's not marketed correct. This cover does not match what happens in the book. You know what it needs? It needs one of those old school, like gothic romance covers. Give me a second. It needs a cover like this. That, if you've read The Writing Retreat, tell me this does not look like maybe with some snow in the background. That's the vibe it gives off. Don't ask me where I got that book from. That's the vibe that this book gives off, but the cover does not, and it's making me mad that this is like a trend in thrillers because The Family Game is the same way. I'm also getting rid of The Family Game. Like, they're pretty, right? And these are really good for aesthetics and like bookstagram pictures, but they're not honest about what's in there. And this trend of like neon over top of a plain color background, I'm ready for it to be done. I'm ready for it to be done. Please be honest about what's in your book. This, not doing it. This right here, the story about like the game they have to play. Ooh, there's an imposing mansion in the back. Why is it neon pink? Why is it neon pink? If anything, it should have been a green book with neon red because it happens at Christmas. Anyway, I'm getting rid of that one too. I'm getting rid of The Book of Salt by Manute Trong. This was okay, but literary fiction wise, it was a little bit like Remains of the Day, but a little bit too dry for me, I think. And I'm pretty sure I have a signed copy of it down on my shelf somewhere, so I'd rather just keep that. This is the one that hurts the most because these were very anticipated reads for me, and they are not enough to keep. I liked For the Throne. And I guess I like both of them well enough, but not enough that I'm probably gonna pick them up again. And that sucks. But like, someone else is gonna find them and love them, and that's what I'm gonna do to get me through. I may change my mind on these two, throw them across the room, and take them to my classroom library because I may have some kids that like them, but I just don't. They're eating up space in my library to be like mid books that I read this year. I think maybe they got fours. I can't remember the rating, but they weren't like new favorites. So I might feel bad about that. The last one I'm getting rid of, I am taking to my classroom library. is A Study in Drowning, and the only reason I'm getting rid of this one and putting it in my classroom library is because it's the really kind of cheap, glossy cover that it came with, and I have the beautiful, like, redone Owl Crate edition I'd rather keep because I really like that book, but I really hate this cover. Like, I'm so sorry. You mean to tell me you went from this to this? It's a downgrade. It's a downgrade. Anyway, those are the books I'm getting rid of. It is quite a bit of books. I'm going to take them tomorrow to David's, see if I can get any kind of store credit, and then I'm going to try to avoid looking at books so that I won't spend any of the credit tomorrow. I can just have credit. But you know me. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that is the first unhaul of the year, or the last unhaul of the year. I'm going to wrap them in together. It feels like an accomplishment either way. And I probably won't do another unhaul till this summer when I have time to actually go through the books and kind of pull everything off the shelves. I don't have that time. I start school in a few days. Okay, bye.